Here's the other thing too. Man, I have learned this lesson. Not everyone, this whole episode, not everyone is down with. Not everyone cares to, I mean, are you kidding me? Look at the world today. Get on social media for about 30 seconds and listen to mainstream media for about 30 seconds, and you will realize that there are billions and billions of dollars of people not trying to understand the other person's point of view. Billions and billions and billions of dollars. So not understanding the other perspective is I would argue it's a multi-billion dollar business. Welcome to the EQ Gangster podcast, where you will learn practical tools to grow your mental and emotional health and intelligence to be the best version of yourself, both at work and at home. It is real, raw, and transformational. The journey of emotional growth isn't easy, but it's worth it. I believe in you. EQ Gangsters, what's up? Hey, how good are you at putting yourself in someone else's shoes? That's the episode. How good are you? So that's empathy, basically, I think. And empathy is a skill. Empathy is something that you can learn, that you can develop if you want to. Not everyone wants to. Not everyone has a desire to. Not everyone realizes the importance of empathy. There's a kind of personal situation that we are going through, some big decisions and stuff, some business decisions, that kind of thing. And there's some folks outside of my family that has opinions on how we're making decisions. And so that can be frustrating to some people. Like, well, our decisions are none of your business. But then there's the other dynamic of like, well, let's get in their shoes. Why? What could be some reasons that they have their opinions on our decisions? And how could our decisions affect them? Good, bad, indifferent. And are they somebody that we love and care about, that we maybe should value their input or opinions? Or maybe not. At a minimum, I think it's incredibly helpful to in terms of relationships and navigating relationships and potential conflict, I think it's critical to put yourselves in the other person's shoes and really try to understand what are their points. What are the, what are their points for their decision, and what are also not just the points, but the emotions. Do a list. Write down the list of their points. These are their points. They think that we should have made, or we should make these decisions. These one or two decisions. Okay, boom. And the reasons why they think we should make these one or two decisions are 1, 2, and 3 for point 1, 1, 2, and 3 for point 2. That's why we should have made those decisions, or why we should make those decisions. Then, what are the emotions that are driving these decisions? Because, again, physiologically, every decision goes to the emotion center of our brain before it goes to the logic center of our brain. So our emotions, as much as we would like to think we don't make emotional decisions, our emotions provide the fuel for the engine of our logic. So we make a decision based on emotion and then back up our emotional decision by the logic that will support those emotions and the emotions behind that decision. So, and what we see, because we're trained to see, what we see as the logic behind our decisions, most of us are not trained to see or understand the what's under the water, what's under the surface, the emotions. What are the emotions driving the logic behind these different courses of action in this decision? And it's important. It is critically important to understand, there's in this discussion, I'm going to say person A and person B. Person A has a particular perspective about this set of opinions from this outside party. And then person B, which is in this case me, while their input is important and matters, I still have to make the best decision for my family. And that's the bottom line. And so ultimately I answer to God about why I make certain decisions. I also appreciate outside perspective. And if me not choosing party C's courses of action for my family, and that negatively affects their relationship with us based on their choice and decision, that I can't control that. I can only control what I can control. I can provide for them the context of my decision-making process, and they can choose to agree or disagree. And they can choose to agree and still support us. They can choose to disagree with us and still support us. Or they can choose to agree with us and support us, or disagree with us and not support us, right? But I can't control that. I don't know. I have no idea what the outcome will be. All I can do is understand their perspective. And here's the other thing too, man, I have learned this lesson. Not everyone, this whole episode, not everyone is down with. Not everyone cares are you kidding me? Look at the world today. Get on social media for about 30 seconds and listen to mainstream media for about 30 seconds, and you will realize that there are billions and billions of dollars of people not trying to understand the other person's point of view. Billions and billions and billions of dollars. So not understanding the other perspective is I would argue is a multi-billion dollar business, because it creates conflict and drama and tension. And in this case, conflict that leads to war, which again is tremendous business, not to mention loss of life and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a very real, relevant issue that if you want peace, and I would say, man, if you want peace, it gives me a lot of peace in this particular situation that I'm going through, walking through. It gives me a lot of peace to understand the other people's perspective. Lots of peace. And it gives me, man, a lot of empathy and understanding, and also more, man, I feel so much more calm and unemotional about communicating my points, because I fully understand and appreciate their points. And y'all, this is a miracle that I'm even doing an episode on this. This is a miraculous episode. You have just witnessed about 8 minutes of miracles, because pre-EQ, I was in one of those camps that said, screw you, I don't care what your perspective is. this is how I'm going to do it, this is why I'm going to do it, and you can pound sand. I didn't give a rat's rear end what anybody's perspective was, because I had the EQ of a 5-year-old, and I didn't have the emotional bandwidth or capacity or agility to want to or care to understand the other person's perspective. Because for me, well, it led to a lot of tremendous amounts of, I was insecure, my low self-worth, my identity was in, again, people-pleasing addiction, and was trying to get validated and approved and affirmed by other people around me, and so I would feel like if you disagree with me, you're attacking me, which means you're attacking my identity, which means you don't think I have worth and value, which means I'm going to come out and attack you. So, which again is tremendously unhealthy, which is what we're seeing in the world today. So we're seeing noble pre-EQ all over the world today. Thankfully, I'm in a spot where now I'm secure in who I am and whose I am, and I love and care about people not from an emotionally needy place anymore, but from a secure place that genuinely wants to understand the other person's point of view and perspective and narratives and feelings and emotions behind those decisions, which enables me to walk through and navigate conflict much more productively and exponentially less catastrophic. And with a, hopefully, and we'll see, again, I can't control the outcome, but with a much greater, better, more productive, more healthy outcome, and God willing, stronger relationships than how I used to do conflict. So, yeah, so I mean, really, this is an episode on conflict. If you really want to get down to it, how to do conflict, how to do and deal with conflict well. And so again, it's empathy. It's empathy. It's can you, and here's how I test myself. Hey, Frank, Bob, Shelly, here, help me understand where you're coming from. This is what I understand your perspective is, your points are, the emotions surrounding your points, your narratives. Boom, 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 boom. Then I'm going to ask them, okay, so based on that, my back briefing you kind of on where you guys are coming from, how well do you feel I understand where you're coming from on a scale from 1 to 10? 10 being totally understand, 1 being I missed it completely. And if it's anything less than a 10, okay, help me get to a 10. Help me get to an 8, and then help me get to a 9, and then help me get to a 10. Help me get to that next level of understanding. What am I missing? And I don't want to move on in the conversation until I fully understand where they're coming from. Otherwise, if you move forward in that conversation, in that relationship, there will be barnacles of bitterness that will grow and build in the relationship. And it will show up one way or another in low performance, low engagement, drama, conflict, tension. I mean, the whole gamut. It can absolutely show up. So how intentional, and here's the thing, so how intentional are you at trying to understand the other person's perspective? And if you don't, how well do you ask questions to seek clarification and seek understanding before sharing your perspective? Seek first to understand, then be understood. Seek first to understand, then be understood. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Emotionally healthy people help heal other people emotionally. Emotionally healthy leaders create emotionally healthy cultures and organizations that lead to maximized results, outcomes, performance, and engagement.